All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
Hey, everybody, welcome on in to NorCal Sports Network. Welcome, everybody. Let's get going. Giants lose it 2-0. And it's a tough loss, but we'll get into it. In fact, I'm going to have Lou break it down because I got to head over to the Krug show to do the handoff. He just sent me the link just now as we go live. All right, guys. We appreciate it. Show is brought to you by Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in California, licensed in Marin. Give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. 415-613-9483. You got a personal injury situation, give Chapman Law Group a call. All right, everybody, we're going to break it down for you. I will be back in less than 5 minutes as I do this. This is crazy. Let me get this off here. All right, we'll get to your comments. We'll get to everything. Lou, I need you to run the show for 5 minutes, break it down, and we'll be back soon. All right.
Sounds good. All right. Well, as Dan said, sort of a tough game to watch. 2-0 loss by the Giants. I think, it all started bad as we got the news before the game started. Dan's favorite, Mr. Schmidt, had problems on his rib cage, and he got replaced by Late Night Lamont. And as we know right now, Late Night Lamont, I believe, is still sleeping. So it's one of those things where, you just, first of all, you knew it was going to be a tough because the Giants just can't hit these lefties with the changeup and throw very, 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 very soft. Today, they just couldn't do anything. I mean, I think it's a problem when our first hit of the game is Lee bunting down the third baseline just to make sure, that we get a hit. And then, of course, he got another hit in Fitzgerald. And I don't remember when Ramos got a hit. So only 4 hits on the day. Again, another problem, 8 strikeouts. Chapman came up in a big situation in the 8th. But, he unfortunately struck out. And, of course, Jensen goes 1-2-3. But, it's, what? Giants can do this. You guys got to remember, this has been a long road trip. We've had big success. But the Giants are now 5-6 in their last 11 games. So, we start off hot, and now we're coming back to reality a little bit. It was a crazy day in baseball. We lose a game to the Dodgers. Arizona had a crazy game in Chicago. But, let's talk about the positive. Another great performance by Webb. Webb went 6 innings, 4 hits, 12 strikeouts, total demand. But the Giants really didn't help him. But you also got to give Tyler Anderson a lot of credit, He only gave up 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 96 miles, 96 pitches. Pitched really, really well. I mean, to tell you the truth, I didn't even think the Giants were going to come back once they got the 2 runs in the second, just because I don't know what it is. Our right-hand lineup right now just isn't really solid. And, I'm just going to look over it. Ramos 1 for 4, Adames 0 for 4, Jung-Hoo Lee, the only person with 2 hits, Chapman 0 for 2. He had 2 walks. Flores is coming back to earth. He's now batting only .225. Patrick Bailey, another goose egg, 0 for 4. He's batting .170 now. And, of course, Lamont, 0 for 3, .096. So, Eddie, I don't know if the screwed Flores. I mean, you got to remember he was 0 for 4. You get a blown call here and there, but that's just how it is. It happens. But, hey, it's only one game. It's only a loss. Webb, what's Webb supposed to do? He pitched 6 solid innings, but You know, Webb's used to this with the Giants. Giants just don't support him. You know, I know everybody talks about the same comparison with Matt Cain. Never gets any run support. But you got to remember last year he had a losing record. You know, that's just how it is. You know, some pitchers go. But, you know, this is now back-to-back games where the Giants have been really, really fooled against, you know, these lefties that have these changeup and throw sort of like slop. You know, the Giants are clearly a team that likes to hit the fastball. But, you know, there's just a few holes. It happens, you know, after 8 games of an 11-game road trip. And remember, 17 games straight. So it's only a loss. You know, let's look at some of the comments while we're here. Yeah, DL, I feel Webb, you know, tough for Webb. But, hey, Webb is paid like an ace. That happens, you know. Bailey, I don't know what we're going to do with him. You know, it's getting to the point where he's very up and he's very down. I mean, I love him defensively, but, you know, we need him to stick. You know, right now we're having 3 positions where really we're not getting anything out of. You know, Adames is not hitting in the 2-hole. You have Lamont, when he leads off, isn't hitting at all. And then you got Bailey. You can't have 3 empties out of 9. You know, I think it's just one of those things where, you know, I sort of feel like these last couple games, it's like the torture's coming back. We need offense, and we're not getting it. You know, as Dan said, you know, we weren't expecting much from Adames, but, you know, I'm expecting a little bit more than what he's doing. He's just in a slump. But when, you know, one of your star players in the slump, somebody else has to come. And Lee is an offensive guy that he puts the ball in play, gets us singles, which is great. But then you need Chapman, Flores, or Yaz. Got to help him out when there's an opportunity. But, you know, Giants lose today. You know, it's sort of frustrating. I hate doing these shows when it's sort of a slow day. You know, but it happens. How you doing, Chardell? Yeah, another tough one. Chardell, I don't know if you just got here now, but Dan's actually doing 2 shows at once. So he will be coming back. Him and Larry were supposed to do a show, and then Larry sort of forgot about him. So he's there for 5 minutes, but he'll come back. Yeah, Robert, it's only game 1 of the series. You know, but this is now 2 straight games where I'm just getting a little worried when we face a lefty of someone that really throws junk. Because the Giants are like, you know, we're way ahead of these pitches. It wasn't like they were all changeups. You know, these are slow curveballs where they're not going the opposite way. And that's something that they have to do, you know. But it's one of those things, you know. You guys got to remember, Giants are not going to win every game. I know Robert thinks we're probably going to win 100, but, you know, it's one of those things, you know, where Giants against good pitching right now aren't hitting. And I think the one thing about the Angels, this was only their fourth home game of the year. So, you know, I think it's gonna be a tough series to win. We got to win the next 2. We got to get off the thing. But what I want to talk about before he gets back, guys, are you worried about some of our offensive problems? I mean, I know Adames eventually is going to get out, but, you know, Bailey, big problem. Late night, big problem. You know, I mean, it's, you know, Chapman's only batting .232, but it seems like, you know, he was hitting well. I don't know what we're going to do, but, you know, Ramos batting .226. You know, I mean, you guys, I know it's early, but we need our guys to step up. Okay. We can't have literally 3 or 4 guys that aren't hitting in this lineup. We can't afford that. And I just thought, you know, after yesterday where we had a problem with the lefty throwing really junk, today was the same thing. And the Giants got to figure this out because, as Dan pointed out, I think Sunday we're going against another lefty. So
yeah, you got another lefty going on Sunday. Yeah. Exactly.
So
tonight's game,
yeah,
Lou,
it happens.
I don't know what you covered. I'm just over on Larry's show.
You want me to tell you what we covered, Dan? Just quick second.
All right.
Okay.
We'll just. I think I heard you talking about the hitting. Pretty much get the gist there. Yeah, they don't hit well against lefties. Wade was in the lineup tonight because Casey Schmidt was a late scratch with a side soreness left side. Hopefully he didn't do that yesterday swinging against Sanchez, but he was kind of fooled against Sanchez all 3 times. He just couldn't catch up to, he couldn't read that changeup. When a guy's got a fastball like Sanchez that throws 96 and then he's got a wicked change, then tonight they faced another changeup with Anderson, but he's not he doesn't throw that hard. No. So I don't understand the Giants, what their timing. You got to sit back, just wait on that changeup, and either take it outside or drive it to right field, man.
Yep.
They didn't go to the opposite
they never
field
did. No.
At all. Kept trying to pull it all night. And when you try and pull a ball on a guy that's crafty and hits corners, and that's how he makes his living, you're not going to get anywhere. See, you think it's a meatball coming in because it's nice, and for them, it's nice and fat because it's slow to them. These guys are used to facing 95, 98, right? They see a guy that's throwing a changeup in the 80s, and they're thinking, man, this thing, I'm going to drive it and just smoke it. Well, you got to be disciplined. You got to go up with a plan. I love Jung-Hoo Lee's bunt, man. The guy was Rengifo, the third baseman, was playing at shortstop, basically. And, Lee bunts it. If he bunts it any harder, and he could have went in, past the bag and got a possible double out of it. It was a good bunt. So this team really needs help. Where was Matos tonight? What's going on, Bob Melvin? What are we doing?
I didn't like. Why are you bringing in late night Lamont to bat 9? I know you had a problem, but Matos could have filled in. You know?
You could have made Matos the DH tonight, and you could have put Wilmer at first.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hold on here. Yeah. So that was just dumb, in my opinion. I guess they don't want to put Wilmer at first base at all costs, maybe, huh? Maybe they're trying to.
Yeah, I guess, who knows? It's just, I didn't like the decision, and I hate it when you find out about 10 minutes before the game, because, you want Schmidt to be healthy. It's still early in the season, but, right. There's no reason why they couldn't have done that, especially after a crafty lefty. You don't want to really have late night, Wade going where he's already struggling to begin with. Now you're going against a lefty where I think he only had 2 at-bats all season against a lefty. It wasn't almost fair. He's like being thrown into the fire. So,
right.
But, it's one of those things, nothing you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Giants go down quietly tonight. They end up with 4 hits, 2 by Jung-Hoo Lee, 1 by Fitzgerald, and 1 by Ramos. Just, anemic offense. Adama's hitting 185. Lamont Wade Jr. hitting 0.96. 0.96 and 185. Let's see.
And then look at Bailey.
That is a combined 281, and Bailey is 170. Okay, so Wade and Adames don't even equal what Jung-Hoo Lee is hitting at 361. Yeah,
you can't have 3 empty spots not contributing out of 9. It's tough to win when that happens.
Yeah, great outing tonight by Logan Webb, though. Absolutely fantastic. He goes 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a career strikeouts of 12. Quality start for Logan Webb. And this is the issue, Lou, we've been talking about. The Giants have Logan Webb as a very reliable starter. And after that, it's all question marks. All 4. Verlander, Ray, Hicks, and Roop. 4 of the 5. There's not, you can't tell me of those 4, I'm probably most confident in Roop.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm probably most confident in Roop to give you a solid game. I don't know what you're going to get from Robbie Ray.
I know. That's all you know. That's the only consistent thing. Let me throw 500 miles an hour, even though I can't get the ball over the plate.
All right. Here's the pitch.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Robbie, I got you. Throw it over the plate. Come on.
Yeah.
Just stop walking. Hey, if you're going to give me that, like you're giving everything you got with that effort and that just letting it all out, man, freaking put it over the plate at least, man.
How about instead of pitching 98, pitch 94 and you have better control? You know, the one thing we didn't really talk about last night, the Giants have great defense at short and third. Let them hit it to them. You know, let them do their job.
This is pretty funny. David VR isn't even a real person. The entire David VR thing is a psyop. Artificial intelligence.
Yep.
Oh man. Hey.
Yeah, and I agree, especially with Hicks going, you're not sure what you're going to get. You know, but you know, this is a long road trip. You know, I'm just a little bit worried because now we're 5-6 in our last 11. And obviously we have a problem against lefties that throw junk, you know, and we got to step up.
A woman's tennis player.
Oh yeah.
Who was it that used to grunt all the time? Was it Martina Navratilova?
No, it was
or is it Steffi Graf?
It might have been Steffi Graf, who always tried to hit it 100 miles an hour every time. And the first couple of times, like, what's wrong with this girl? When you first heard it, you know.
Yeah. I had a crush on Chris Evert growing up.
Well, a lot of people did. Remember when she dated Jimmy Connors?
Yeah. I used to have that little tennis skirt on the cover of Sports Illustrated plastered on my wall, along with Christy Teigs. And every Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, I had the cover right on my wall. I actually had, you see all my hats behind me there. Yep. I got to move the Giants shoot to third place. That sucks. But I had a whole wall. It was actually longer than this wall, which is, you're only seeing half of this wall. But I had every Sports Illustrated cover for like 2 or 3 years. So I had like 100 and I would say 3 years, like 100 and, once a week, right? 52 issues. Of course. Plus the Sports Illustrated issue,
which was
smack in the middle, right?
Of course.
Smack in the middle. But they were all on my wall and there was no white space of anything. All you had was every picture. So think of every athlete that was on the cover. I had some Muhammad Ali's, a lot of, Ali's, and you had some tennis players, but you had, Mays a couple times. Cheryl Teigs. Oh man, she was the bomb.
Teigs, Crawford. Oh yeah. See, now I didn't do that on my wall. I had rock albums and rock posters. A little bit different generation.
Yeah. No, I had all the sports, every Sports Illustrated, man. When Sports Illustrated was actually Sports Illustrated. Do they even put that magazine out now?
Still? I do not know. I know this because
I see a lot of guys.
There was a little woke problem because they weren't having the plus models for a while. So I don't even know if the great swimsuit issue is even on. I think it's only on the webpage, not through the
nowadays
magazine.
You don't even know if they're real legitimate chicks or not.
Because the AI, sure. I agree.
Come on. I mean, not just AI. I think they have some other issues, but we won't get into that.
Completely agree.
Senior, we played a kid who grunted when he pitched last week. You wonder if he was really grunting on his own or if he was imitating Robbie Ray, because when I pitched on the mound in when I was 14 and 15, that would have been 1975 and 6. You know who I tried to emulate on the mound?
Luis Tiant?
No, John Monefusco.
The count.
Everything. I tried to do his delivery. You pitched
sidearm.
Yeah. No. I tried to do his delivery. I tried to do his demeanor.
I used to pitch sidearm in grammar school and high school. So
Mark
I had a
Graves
very
wants to know
good
if you
slow
had.
curve, just didn't have speed.
Did you have black light posters?
I'm not even sure what black light is referring to, Dan. Do you know what that it means? Is
I
black light
don't.
as like I had a huge poster of probably groups you guys have never heard of, but Blue Oyster Cult, Jefferson Starship, when they were actually good. Didn't go to Starship. They weren't airplane, but when Jefferson Starship was still good. I mean, I used to go to a place called Stonestown, and they used to have albums, but they had posters in the front window supporting albums. So I used to, once the album was over a month old, they would sell that poster for $1, and they had them all over the place.
You're too old, Lou.
Yeah,
you're too old. According to 420, holy smoke, 69. What a name, 420, holy smoke, 69. Okay, hey,
it's real rock and roll back then. Arena rock. That's what it was
I forgot I had 24 by 36 posters that I used to order. Those were the bomb back in the day. I would order Jack Clark. I had, gosh, who else did I have? It's been 40 some odd years. I can't remember all those guys.
I think the only poster I had might have been Larry Bird. I was such a big fan.
I used to buy this. I think I had Abdul-Jabbar, Rick Barry.
So growing up, were you more of like a sports fan for NBA, since the Warriors actually were the first team to win it?
No, I was a Giants fan first.
Okay, yeah, Giants.
I started following baseball in '68. Basketball.
And when you were a Giants fan growing up, did you keep score in the book?
Scorebook? Oh yeah, I had a scorebook. Yeah. Used to listen to the games on the radio, scorebook.
And I loved it when you got the daily program and they would have that in there.
Yes, the daily program. You could do that. Yeah. Exactly. That was about $1 to buy the program back then, the daily program. You had both teams in there, right in the middle.
The only negative is when either a team scored too many or you had to use different or extra innings. You sort of had to make up for the lost room.
Yeah. They've got this new term now. They call it SH when you're like for fantasy, for sacrifice hit, because they have they don't want to call it a bunt, sacrifice bunt, because you got SB for stolen base. So you've got to call it a sacrifice hit. There's no such thing as a sacrifice hit. If you think about it, it's a sack. It's just a sacrifice,
You're sacrificing your at bat.
Yeah. But you call it a sacrifice hit, and it's like, I was like, what's that? And then it made sense as I was looking at the numbers. You can't put sacrifice bunt, because that's what a sacrifice hit is a sacrifice bunt, but you got stolen bases. So they want to.
And Dan, we have 2 super chats if you want to get to those. From Fuji.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, Fuji Simeon coming in hard with Mark. At Mark, Robbie Ray reminds me of Steffi Graf tennis. That's the one we were talking about. Steffi Graf.
About.
Okay. And then Fuji Simeon says, don't lie, Lou. At SI, in your locker, you had Raquel Welch poster. 10 million BC movie actress poster for those who aren't old enough.
No, I was never a huge fan. I liked Raquel Welch when she got older. I was a big Linda Carter fan. For you guys, that was the original Wonder Woman. Dan, I don't know if you remember the great Linda Carter.
But, you know what? There was none finer than Raquel Welch, baby.
That poster, that was a little ahead of my time. I'm sorry, but I was more of a Linda Carter. And then who else would I have been? God, growing up, I mean, I was a big Tatum O'Neal fan.
How about Bo Derek in the movie 10?
Bo Derek, yeah.
Have you seen those pictures of them when they've gotten older, though? They're just like, whoa.
Yeah, I've seen Bo Derek probably 20 times the last couple of years. She's always at the racetrack. She's always involved. She doesn't own any horses, but she tries to help on the California Horse Racing Board. So I see her there. But yeah, sorry, guys. 10 million BC, never even seen the movie. I mean, I know who Raquel Welch is, but was never just a huge fan. I was more of a Linda Carter, Tatum O'Neal with Little Darlings with her and Christy McNichols growing up. And of course, the best girl through all my generation and still beautiful to this day, Diane Lane.
All right. Well, let's not
Sorry.
let's show the youngsters that didn't know who Raquel Welch was a little sneak preview, huh?
Yeah.
There we go. Raquel Welch, baby. Yeah. All right. There we go. She was.
Love the hair. She was before Farrah in her poster.
Yeah. None finer than Raquel growing up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Fuji Simeon. He's going to ask you, Lou, your answer.
You know, there's been a lot of players, and probably the last one I remember that was really struggling. And, well, I'll name two. JT Snow had a problem, and he decided to go one way, and it helped. And, of course, Panda. If you guys remember Panda during the probably 2009 through 2015 when he was up and down with the Giants, he couldn't hit. He couldn't hit right-handed. And they told him, lose weight and only bat from the left side. So, I mean, I don't know if you know any other switch hitters of the Giants that really struggled like that, Dan. Do you, beside those two? That really only went one way?
I'm trying to recall.
I mean,
a guy who I thought was going to be really, really good player with the Giants. He played years ago, a guy by the name of Alan Hansen. Guy was a speedster like crazy. I saw the dude score from first base on a pickoff throw that went errant down the line at Oracle, and he scored all the way from first base.
Wow, that speed.
The dude could fly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's hard, guys. People don't realize how hard it is to switch hit.
He was a switch hitter.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last great Giant to do it might have been Chili Davis. You know, he could hit either way, but it's hard. It's just one of those things. You know, you got to remember, you're going against the best pitchers, the creme of la creme. So maybe in college you can get away with it because they make mistakes in college, but not in the pros. You know, you don't get that. Andre Torres, yeah, but, you know, I wouldn't think of him being that solid. You know, he only played with the Giants a couple of years.
Right.
Even who we mentioned last night when we talked about leadoff hitters, he struggled at times too. It's just hard, you know. Bill Miller, how are you? You know, so
yeah.
Robert brings up a good point. You know, should we consider Matos at first? We were talking about that tonight before he got on, why he wasn't there, especially with a lefty. You know, if you're not going to play Matos at first base against a lefty where someone who is going to play a righty gets injured, when are you going to play him? That's sort of my thing. It's like, wait a minute. So.
All right. You know what? I'm going to show you the play that I recall. We'll get demonetized for this one, but
with Hansen getting by, you found it?
Yeah. Lou, how much more time should we be with Wade?
Well, you can't blame him for tonight. You know, mentally he wasn't prepared to start. He wasn't going to play against a lefty. It was literally a last-minute decision. You know, as me and Dan spoke last night, we said we should, 100 at-bats. You got to give the guy a chance. League guys have just started. So he's in a slump. Hopefully he can turn it around because we're going to need him, especially games like this. We're going to need him.
Yeah. Would I consider having Matos play first base? No. I mean, you can't. He's not first base. He's not an infielder. It would take way too long. I know what you're trying to do is get his bat in the lineup, but he's not. I would not. Casey could do it because he's a Gold Glove caliber third baseman. So playing first base is a natural. In fact, Casey Schmidt leads the all of first basemen right now. He's tied with a few other guys for defensive runs saved. He's already playing that well at first base in 2 weeks. So, all right, you guys want to see something cool? You guys remember Alan Hansen? Does anybody remember that play?
little blonde guy, if I remember. I can't remember him
No,
offhand.
he was black guy. Yeah, he was
Oh, I see. I don't remember him. Sorry.
Super fast. Check this play out, guys. Here we
Go.
go. You would have remembered that play, man. You weren't at that game?
No, I probably was. I just, I mean, look
at how fast this dude. He's got long strides.
And he's looking at Lotus and he's thinking, I'm going.
Look at him.
And that's the afterburner.
That guy was so exciting to watch.
Digging it.
Wasn't a great hitter, but man, he was, I think, the fastest guy that I've seen in a Giants. That guy could fly. He was a top 100 prospect when he first came up, and he just never was able to put it together.
How long was he with us for? Was he just a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
And that was it?
Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe a year. Yeah. What year was that? Spencer Stewart says, check out 2017, I believe it was. 17 or 18. One of those 2 years. I'm pretty sure. It could have gone into 19, but I don't think so. I think it was 17 or 18. My guess was it's 17 because they still had a lot of people there in the stadium. It wasn't until after mid-17 it started deteriorating, and then, everybody saw that they were going to be a losing team, and 18, 19, 20, but 18 NorCal Sports Talk Live says, yeah. I knew it was 17 or 18. But man, he was supposed to be like, second baseman, and he was switch hitter. I believe he was a switch hitter, but he was just had lightning speed. He just couldn't put it together all together. Oh yeah. Let's talk about the couple things. I don't know if you talked about it in the beginning, but if you did, we'll readdress it. The Giants tonight gave up 2 runs in the 1 inning to make it 2-0. Neither run should have scored. Adames has the ball go through his legs as he tries to, it's hit pretty hard, but he tries to sideswipe it instead of getting in front of it. I took balls off my chest playing baseball. Not that hard, probably like those guys, but you got to get in front of that and knock it down. It gets past and the run scores. And then, I don't know if it was the next batter, I think, hits a ground ball to Chapman. To short, to Adames, and Chapman thinks he's the shortstop tonight. I get it, Matt. You can get to a lot of balls, but that was a routine grounder to short. And I know Chapman grew up in El Toro, or went to El Toro High, which is in Orange County. He probably had a lot of family and friends there tonight and is probably trying to do too much to put on a show. Get over there at shortstop, spin. I'm kind of sarcastic kind of dude. If I was managing, I would kind of almost want to do, hey, Willie, I'm pulling you off the field. We don't need you. We've got the left side covered. Our third baseman can take care of everything. Just pull him off the field. Just go with 8 guys. Look, Mr. Know-It-All, you think you can do it? You think you know all the answers to everything? The kid that pops up in class whenever there's a question, he answers everything and gives nobody a chance, right? You've been around that kind of guy, right? Well, how about Chapman tonight? Hey, look, I can play short too. I can cover the entire left side of the infield. What are you doing, dude? That wasn't even in the hole. He didn't even have to backhand that, Adames. He wasn't going to have to backhand it deep in the hole. He was kind of moving over and in front of it, and he was going to scoop it right up, and that's an easy throw for a shortstop. Yeah, he can cover a lot of ground, just not enough, Robert. Just not quite enough. It went right through him and kicked it into left field for the second run. That's a bonehead play.
Yeah, but it all started with Adamas. He obviously didn't have a coach growing up like Mr.
Yeah.
Buttermaker of the great Bad News Bears
Yeah.
that told you to
Chapman
get in front of the
Law
ball,
Group.
and if it
That's
hits
right.
you,
Chapman
you know.
Law Group. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Chapman today thought he was Kelly Lee, can get to everything. You know.
Let me take a look at that inning here. That was the second inning. Yeah. Bottom of
Correct,
the
the
second.
second.
Soler struck out. O'Hoppe struck out. Okay, you got 2 out. Chanel, the first baseman, doubles to center. Nito doubles to left. I'm sorry, that was not a double. That was like went right through the shortstop. He knocks it down. Nobody scores. Next guy, Nito scores on an error. They shouldn't have scored. In fact, right now it's 9:38. We should be watching the game 0-0 somewhere in about the 12th inning, top of the 12th. Right now, we should be in the top of the 12th, 0-0, because we know we wouldn't have scored yet. But come on, man. You got to knock that ball down at shortstop. You think that ball would have gone through Brandon Crawford like that at short? Serious?
Probably not.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
We only had 1 error tonight, but really 3 mentals. So really 3 errors total. Shouldn't have happened. You know, we've been having that problem. This road trip's been sort of difficult defensively. We made a lot of collapses. But, you know, it happens. It's a long season.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a long season. And I'm not going to, team's good, but they've got to be able to win these. They don't. Okay, here we go. You want to see what I'm talking about? You want to see what I'm talking about here? Watch this. Oh, I might have to pull it up so you can watch it.
There you go.
Oops, what's going on? All right. Can you see that right there? What are you watching?
Yeah, it's very small.
All right, here we go. Now you can see it?
Now we can see it.
Okay, watch this play.
Stood up since 1970 until last year. The 2-2 hit hard to the shortstop. It gets through. Welcome back, Zach. Nolan Shotwell comes around to score. Neto digging for second. Going to be close. He's in there. And you wonder, is he going to do a head-first slide? And he does right away. The Halo fan.
Okay, watch this here again. Let's see. I want to see the. I want to see the play again. All right, here we go. Look at it. I know it. He did get in front of it. He did not get in front of that ball. Okay.
Olay.
He just didn't get in front of it. It's a very tough play. I didn't expect him to come up with it cleanly if he got in front of it, because it was hit so hard. But in that situation, I think you got to try to get in front of that and get your glove. He tried to do it, like you said, olay it from the side. And it's coming at him quick. He has a split second to make the decision. Not an easy play. So let's say it goes in. It was a hard hit ball. I'll give it to you 1-0. The next play
almost could have been an error.
Chapman's was an error.
No, I know, but I'm saying that could have been an error.
No, I don't think you give an error.
2 outs.
On that.
All right.
That was hit. That was scorched. My only thing was just block it. Just try and block it from going into the outfield because it saves a run. I don't think that was a hit all the way. There was no. I don't blame Adames for not coming up with that cleanly. The only thing I would say is try to get in front of it and knock it down. Joe Schmo, did it bounce over or off of his glove? I think it just bounced a little over. It he tried to come up with a swoop, like scoop it up from the side, and it just it went right over him. But Chapman's was an error, so it was really only one earned run that Webb gave up. So, but at that point, does it really matter? Giants never even threatened. Never threatened. So
never threatened at all.
Yeah, and this is kind of a concern right here. What LZ says: third shutout loss, tied for first in Major League Baseball. I think you're tied with what, Cincinnati, maybe? Yeah. You're still 13-7 through 20 games. Look, if you played every 20 games and won 13, you'd take that all day long. All day long. In fact, you'd take 12 of every 20 because then you're playing 600 ball. Right? 12 of 20, 600 ball, which is going to get you close to 100 wins.
100 wins, yeah.
Yeah. So
and two of the shutouts were at home against Cincinnati, including one of the races. So, yeah.
Eldridge is not ready, LZ. Not even close. He's still playing in Arizona. He's had a wrist injury. He's got to go tackle AA, most likely. He could hit 096, but at what expense? You'd ruin his development. You can't push a guy beyond where he's developed. Otherwise, he's going to hit his peak at a lousy level. You want him to master the bottom levels as he moves up, and then he can master the majors. But if he comes up here, he'll do exactly what he did in spring training. Hit a home run and then struck out like 9 straight times after that. And you do that to a youngster and you do too much of that, you ruin them.
We'd have 4 holes in our offense instead of only 3.
Yeah. They just need to get some big, they don't have, hey, look, the holes that they have are the holes that we thought they would have. As the late, great Denny Green said, the Bears are who we thought they were. Look, first base is what we thought it was going to be, an issue. Let's see if Casey can come through. Key is, can Casey hit consistently? I don't know. He can hit lefties, but he's got to hit the righties too. So maybe if he's given an everyday shot, maybe he gets to figure it out like he did in the minors. He hit 2. What did he hit? I think he's got like a 280 batting average through the minor league. So, he wasn't platooning. Maybe if he gets, hey, look, everybody's going to look foolish some days. You're going to face pitchers that you just, but if you bat every day, you get a chance to work on some of those things. So we'll see where this thing goes. But I sure would have liked them to have signed Pete Alonso in the offseason. Paul Goldschmidt's tearing it up in New York.
Another option.
And he's always hit well against the Giants. He hit well against the Giants. Yeah.
And then tomorrow's going to be tough because, Kyle Hendricks will be his first start at home. I know he got hit last time at Houston, but, at Tampa Bay, he went 5 innings, only gave up 2 hits. At St. Louis, 6 innings, 7 hits, only 2 runs. So it's not going to be an easy thing. The Giants just got to do their best.
This kind of sucks for Casey. Hopefully it's just, those obliques are a
bitch.
Those are tough. They're tough, man. Yep. They can linger for weeks. And you hope, my guess is he probably did it yesterday on the, because he was swinging at pitches that were fooling him. And he swung, when you swing at air hard, it can, and you strain and you stretch, that hurts. Shoot.
Yeah, the one thing today that also upset me was a basic play where I forgot who the guy for the Angels hit a ground ball, thought he was doubled up, and he went to sort of the second base, and then he came back. I mean, that had injury written all over it. It was like, oh, my God. Oh, Aaron, it was in the cage before tonight's game because I know it was a late scratch.
That sucks. That
Yeah.
sucks. Wow. Poor guy, man. He's getting finally his chance to play. You got 2 lefties this weekend, tonight and then Sunday. You get a chance to really start building on some consistent at bats. I don't know what they're going to do at first base. Who's the option for them to come up in? Let me take a look at this roster.
Yeah.
Here.
And we talked about the Giants have been pretty good, the first 18 games where we didn't have any injuries, but hopefully this isn't the start of something.
Their roster for the 40-man, if I look at the 40-man roster.
Did Yaz play first?
No.
As an emergency? I'm trying to think.
No, you can't just throw anybody. You got to get a first somebody.
No, I understand what you're saying.
I'm just looking at the roster to see who. Basby's on the minors. Okay, he's they don't have. I mean, Brett Wisely could come up and then move Fitzgerald to first, is what they might do. Because Fitzgerald has played first base. Is David VR in the is he a non-roster player? Is he still with us? He is. He's with Sacramento. He's a non-roster. I think
Did you see what Dallas said? Did you see what Dallas said at 9:49?
Okay, there it is. They took Wisely out of the game and Sack. He's coming. Yeah. So I don't think it's Lamont every day. You watch Sunday. They'll have Cossin at second base, and they'll put Tyler at first base. He played some first base last year, Fitzgerald. You can't go with Lamont Wade against lefties. You can't even hit the righties right now. VR is raking in AAA. I've heard that before. Of
course.
That's what got him up here a few years ago. He was raking in AAA. He was some guys just might be built for AAA. I don't know. Maybe VR gets one more shot and he realizes he makes it. Let's hope so. I like the kid. Good guy. I always root for the underdog, man. Shoot. That's a rough one. Hey guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We're approaching 5,000 subs. Help us push us over the top. Push us over the top for 5,000 subs, and we appreciate that. So, David VR, you need Casey Wilmer at first, or Tyler, or whoever can always. Yeah, I don't think you can go with Lamont Wade every day at first base. Plenty of time for him to join the show. I'm sure he would like to be out playing. I'm sure. Dang, man, that sucks. I hope he can get well, because hopefully it's like just a 10-day thing and it's just a minor tweak, and they're not going to. So VR, that means tomorrow night it'll be Wade at first. They're facing a righty, and Wisely will shoot. You just hope Casey gets his shot to come back off and they don't send him back down, keep him on a minor league rehab start. Jeez.
There it goes.
Wow. In the cage for tonight. Wow. Well, guys, Giants 2-0 tonight. Take it on the chin. Pretty rough at the plate tonight. You know what? I think what we'll do for another 10, 15 minutes, we'll throw it out to you guys. Anybody wants to come in, join the show, do so now. We will put the link out there. If I can get it to, there it is. All right, there's the link. It's in the chat. You want to come in, give us your takes on tonight, on the season going forward. Is this something to be worried about, this right-handed lineup when they face a lefty? They're not hitting well. They've won one game, I believe, in Houston against a lefty. Are teams going to see that the Giants' kryptonite is facing a left-handed and they're going to stack their lefties when they face the Giants? I don't know. Around the scoreboard tonight, the Dodgers, Yamamoto, I was watching a little bit of that game, played well. The Heat, Miami beat the Atlanta Hawks in overtime. Good for Miami. They make the playoffs, so some Warriors. Andrew Wiggins, good for him. All right, so looking at some scores from tonight's ball games. By the way, the link, guys, just to mention to you, it is out there in the chat. You want to come in and give us your thoughts. Wild game today at Wrigley. I bet this game like crazy. And I was worried, Lou. I heard the wind was blowing out. I bet the house on the over, and it was 2-1 in the 7th inning. And the over-under was 11.5. And it's the bottom of the 7th, and I'm like, this ain't happening. And all of a sudden, let me show you the box score.
Dan, I had under 10.5 for the game. I thought it was a win.
You thought you had the under?
Yeah, 10.5.
Okay. So grand slam in the bottom of the 7th, and I'm feeling pretty good. It's 7 to it was 7 to
7-1.
It all of a sudden became 7-1, a 2-1 game, and I'm going, all right, I just need 4 more runs. And one of the Diamondbacks come up in the 8th and score 10. And then, Lou, I started chasing the live betting over at 22.5. And then I did 23.5, and I won those. And then I tried to go a little bit more and get greedy at 24.5, and it got me. And they left the first game.
It was the first game where a team gave up 10 runs and still won. And it was only the 4th game in the last, I think, 40 years where there were back consecutive innings of grand slams.
Oh, it was wild. It was wild. The wind was just any ball that got up in the air, it was going. And it's just like, there it goes.
And it was 2-1 with 2 outs in the 7th before they scored.
Yeah.
So
that's
what makes this game so unique in so many ways.
I had fun with the over today on that one.
Of course. How can you not?
Yeah. Guardians beat the Pirates 10-7. Tigers over the Royals. They keep winning 7-3. They're 12-8. Phillies back winning over the Marlins 7-2. They're 12-8. The Reds are 10-10 at 500. Beat the Orioles 8-3. Yankees behind Carlos Rodon. He pitches 6 strong innings and he beats Rasmussen, who has hardly given up any runs all year. Look at that ERA for Rasmussen, 0.87. Ching. That was only his 2nd run he's given up all year. Yankees are 13-7. Blue Jays are 12-8. A lot of 12-8, 13-7 teams right now. Beat the Mariners 3-1. Mariners 10-10. 10-3 Red Sox over the hapless White Sox. What a joke they are. Mets over the Cardinals. They're 13-7. Juan Soto hasn't gotten going. The Braves win. They need to get going. Dodgers win 3-0 over the Braves or the Rangers. 12-8. A lot of 12-8 teams in baseball. Wow. Astros beat the Padres. Brewers beat the A's 5-3. Astros over the Padres 6-4. And then, of course, the Giants. And then the Rockies game got postponed due to. What do you think, Lou?
Snow,
not rain, snow.
Why don't you put up the standings, Dan? Let's take a look at the standings and then go to the wild card. Just show you how close everything is.
Well,
you mentioned a bunch of
standings.
12 and 8 teams.
I'll show the standings, but we're talking 20 games in.
I know, but our chat after 15 games, they thought we were going to go 110 and 50 beside Robert.
All right, you guys see the standings there? Okay, so there's the American League East.
We don't have it up yet.
Oh, it's not showing. I must have taken it down. Hold on. Then we'll bring Dallas in right after the standings. All right, there they go. You got the Yankees 13-7, leading the Blue Jays by a game. Red Sox 2.5 back. Central, the Tigers are 12-8. And what were the Yankees? 13-7. Rangers 12-8 lead the West over the Angels 10-9. Mets 13-7. Phillies 12-8. See, the Giants not going to be easy, guys. Everybody, because we got this fast start, thinking the Giants are like going to coast into a wild card. Going to be very difficult. Cubs, and then the Brewers are winning. That's not good. And the Reds are winning. That's not good. I'll show you this. If you want to look at the wild card, we're probably first or second right now. We're second. Okay. And we're barely. See, it's not going to be easy, guys. We're not coasting to no wild card. We just hope that we have a chance. Okay. I've got them winning 86. That's going to be pretty close, I think. But we will bring in, stop the screen here, bring in Dallas to the show. Welcome, Dallas. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Man, tough night at the plate. I mean,
rough
Tyler
one.
Anderson. I mean, he's okay, but he's not, he's nobody you should be scared of.
Former Giant, of
the
course.
last time I was on here, I was downplaying. Oh, you get the time difference, and you gain some time coming back. It's not that big of a deal. They seemed a little jet lagged today. They looked like they were tired, and you could see it that they weren't at 100% strength tonight.
Yeah, when you spend that much a whole week, your clock is probably adjusted to the East Coast, and so you get in at, what did we figure they probably got in about 10 o'clock last night? Okay, that's that's 1 in the morning. You
in
don't
their
just
body.
Right.
you just don't like get off the plane, get on a bus and go to your hotel and fall asleep.
Right.
It's like
it also means the game started at 10 o'clock.
Right.
Body clock time.
So, So pretty crazy game for the Giants in the sense, like you said, they looked asleep. Hopefully they bounce back tomorrow. They've got a full night to recover, get some sleep and come back. And then you got a game on Sunday afternoon. Then you're able to fly home. It's an hour flight. It's nothing. You're already starting to adjust. So, yeah, it's really criminal that Major League Baseball allows a team to travel across the country and have a late afternoon game instead of a regular afternoon game on a getaway day. It just should not be allowed. Period. On a getaway day where a team has to travel across more than, say, 6 states.
Yeah. Is that just because the Phillies want to have a night game?
Zone. If they got to travel across 2 time zones.
The Phillies want to have a night game on a Thursday night, so they sell more tickets. So they bump it that late. Is that the reason?
Probably. Yeah. They want to sell more tickets. But the Major League Baseball needs to do a better job of saying the Giants get an off day on Thursday. Or, well, you can't get an off day on a Friday, really. You can't. So, I don't know. Just whatever.
They've had one already this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's rare, but it does happen.
First week of the season's rare. But once the regular season gets started, there's 2 days that never have an off day.
Right.
And that's or 4. there's Friday, Saturday, Sunday should never and a Tuesday. You should never see an off day in baseball on a Tuesday.
Right.
Because
so, I mean, it's one of those things where it's good to get it out of the way early in the year like this than it is to do it late in the year when you're a lot more tired. So,
yeah,
I mean, in a way, it's a good thing to have this long 17-game trip at this point in the season.
right. Get it. Yeah, it's true. Get it over with early. Yeah.
Remember one thing: the Angels played Texas, and the game ended almost identical times. So that was 2 hours ahead. So they had the same situation. I know they're going back home. It was only a 2-hour difference where the Giants were 3. One flight was 3 hours. The other one's 5. So, it works both ways.
Yeah. I think
the Angels have not had it easy. They've had mostly road games.
They've only had 3 home games all year.
Yeah. That's crazy.
The Angels? 3 home games?
This was only their 4th home game of the year.
You're kidding me.
No, we don't make this stuff up, Dan. It's too early.
Hold on. They played 15 road games and this is their 4th home game. My goodness.
So they have some complaints that they could
the Giants
levy also.
Giants are going to have, after this, 16 away games and 6 home games. So they're going to, but you know what? It all evens out. 81 and 81. It does. So unless you play in Japan.
It never evens out. But if you win them, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So Dodgers are 15-6. Giants are 13-7. So Giants fall to a game and a half behind the Dodgers. Fortunately, the Padres lost tonight. So
it's going to be a lot of hat moving, though.
Yeah, I know.
And Arizona. Arizona probably should have won. You scored 10 in the 8th. Do you think you won it? It's baseball.
When they scored that 10, I go, it's not over. It's not over. So, oh, man. Well, guys, thoughts on tomorrow night before we get out of here?
It comes down to Landon Roop. I mean, if he has his A game and he's throwing strikes, then the Giants have a really good shot. If he continues this trend of Giants pitchers having a bad inning where they give up 4 or 5 runs, then they might be in trouble. So I think if they get the same pitching performance as tonight, Webb was fantastic.
Great.
Giving up 2 runs, striking out 12, a career high. Really, really good. He's been excellent this year. So hopefully they take a little example from Webb and say, okay, I'm gonna try and give you my ace performance also. So if Roop shows up tomorrow, I'm sure the bats will show up more than they did tonight, and they'll have a decent shot.
Can't be too much worse unless they get practically no hit.
True.
I do think this would be a great show of resiliency and just, an attitude of never say die if the Giants can come back and finish this road trip with 2 wins and win the series. That way they would have won the first series, split the middle, and win the back end of the road trip.
That would be a big statement. It all comes down to tomorrow, though. So
yeah. Can't win the series if you don't win tomorrow.
Right. But if they win tomorrow, they probably win the next game. If they don't win tomorrow, then it's sweep city. So tomorrow's a big game for the Giants.
Yeah.
But
Can't
if you
let
look
Hendricks get in the flow.
Who got the hits today? It was the
Lee
300 hitters.
2, Ramos 1, and Fitzgerald 1.
Yeah. So I don't know. Adames needs to show up. Chapman needs to show up. Yas needs to show up. These guys have some hits in them. They just need to dial in and see some pitches and make a little bit better swing decisions.
Yeah. Wow. I just looked at the NBA. What a game in overtime. Heat beat the Hawks, but the Grizzlies whipped the Mavericks. Okay. Fossey wants to have a little fun here. He's saying, Dallas, he likes to hear from your voice. He wants you to say, Luke, I am your father.
Well, see, I'm a little under the weather, so I have the sick voice.
Oh, you have the sick voice.
It's a little
on top of the deep voice already.
Yeah, so
there you go. Okay.
I got a little bonus.
There you go. I when I get that frog in my throat, I can do that. Hey, Luke, I'm your father. I don't know. Can you give us? You want to give it a try, or you want to skip it?
Luke, I am your father.
There we go. All right. Little Star Wars here on NorCal Sports Network. Oh, boy. Tomorrow's game is at 6:38, same time, and then Sunday's game's a 105 start, I believe. I don't know. Do they do 105 or 110? Let's look.
They do weird times. 108.
Or do they do 108?
Let's see.
107.
Oh.
And 6:38. What is this? You're trying to be different? Wait.
Pre-game.
Hey, look, I want to be so different. I'm going to have, but then you don't even start it at 6:38 tonight. You started at 6:39. If you're going to be that precise, start it on time. I know that's got to drive Dwayne Kuiper crazy. And
I think you did mention it.
Did he? I missed the first pitch, so I turned it on as I was watching something else. Flipped it over, says, "Oh, it's getting ready to start." And my MLB had to buffer for a minute before it came on, and then as it comes on, the first pitch was already pitched. So
Dan, I have a question regarding Sunday. Are we going to do a post-game Giant show, a pre-game Warriors show, and then a post-game show for the Warriors since they're playing?
Okay, that's the other thing. I got to get with Eric. I don't think we're going to do hot corner during. Okay. I don't want to do hot corner.
Question: If the Warriors
at 8 o'clock in the third quarter of a playoff game, I got to focus on the.
It's okay to take time off.
Yeah, so we probably will have no hot corner. So we'll probably do a Sunday post game. Oh, there went my phone. We'll do a Sunday post game, probably. You know what? Let's just call it Sunday post game. How about 3:53?
It's very Anaheim sounding time.
We'll in honor of the Angels.
I like it.
We'll do one about 3:53, maybe 3:43. It might be over. It's usually these games. I've got them kind of calculated down. They're about 2:30 to 2:40 is a major league game now.
Well,
now let me ask you guys
this. It's going extras.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you like this speed of the game? Games that go 2.5 hours, sometimes 2:10, or do you like a baseball game that's, stretched out a little bit longer, closer to 3 hours?
If I go to the game, I want it to be 3 hours long. I don't want to go to a 2 hour and 15-minute game,
right? And
it's like rush through, and I can only drink 2 beers or something. I want to be able to enjoy myself there if I'm going to make that drive. So, I think maybe at home on the couch, 2.5 hours is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad at home, but when you're at a game, I agree, man. I used to love a doubleheader, man. The old doubleheaders that started at 12 and the first game ended at 3. Second game started at 3:30. You're out at game ends at 6:30. You get out of your car, get home. You get home about 8:15. It's a whole day, man. It's like a work day.
It might be a different type of baseball fan or something, but if it's the 8th inning of a game, I'm not looking at my watch saying, when is this thing going to get over with? That would never happen. I'm happy to be there as long. If the game goes extras, I'm happy to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're a kid, right? And you got school next day. Hey, man, I want to stay up. Give me a note for tomorrow morning, man. Sleeping in.
I do like when the Giants are home, especially doing this show when they start a little bit earlier, because the 7:35 starts. You get an extra inning before you know it's 11:30. It's felt like I do like the 6 or 6:30 starts.
6:45 starts for the Giants, except Fridays are 7:15.
Right. I think that's as late as they go now.
Friday.
They don't do the late ones anymore.
Yeah, but I kind of like when I'm at a game. Yeah, I agree. I would be driving from the East Bay, and it's 45-minute drive, pretty much, maybe 55 by the time you park. And I always park over there at Red Java House, so it's about a 15-minute walk down the Embarcadero. And I don't want to get there, and then I don't want to make the process of getting to the game and going home to the game longer than the actual game was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's bad. It's like I spent 2 hours and 40 minutes of travel time and walk time, and the game was only 2:20. It's like, crap. I feel like I got cheated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any suggestions, Dallas, for what the Giants may need to do for the lineup when it comes? I mean, I think there's an obvious hole right now at first base, which we kind of labeled from the beginning of the season. We also talked about right field. Yaz is hitting, but do we really expect Yaz to hit 300? I don't. I think if he hits,
I think his swing does look better, though.
I think if he hits 250, I think he can maybe hit 250 with this swing. It looks like it's more a swing made for contact, because he's not trying to uppercut it and jack it out of the park. So,
yeah, but I mean, I'm not even too worried about that. He'll play as long as he's hot, and then when he starts to cool down, Matos will get more playing time, and then he'll have his shot, and we'll see what he can do, if he can actually get it going or not. He really hasn't had much of a shot so far this year.
Well, why was he not in the lineup tonight, you think?
I think maybe last night when he had some, mess ups, he misplayed that ball in center field, and then
is his shoulder sore maybe, or do you think it's
possible? Maybe he's a little banged up.
Yeah.
But also, Yaz has been having better at bats versus left-handers, so maybe
right.
They wanted to give him another shot in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm expecting tomorrow's lineup to look like this. 096 Lamont Wade leading off.
Yes. And they'll give him run. He'll make it till May for sure before they even change anything.
Right. Adames hitting a $185, 2. Lee 3. Chapman.
You got to say his average though.
Oh, Lee 361. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy's incredible right now. Yeah. I hope I would feel I got to find the clip that I said last year and people mocked me for it. I said, he's going to win a batting title within the next 3 years. I don't know when, but I just predict he will. And I don't know if he will this year or not, and I don't know if he ever will, but he looks like a guy that might be a batting champ someday. So I got Lee batting third, Chapman fourth. Probably they'll go Yaz 5, Ramos 6. They've been going Ramos 5th, haven't they? And then Yaz.
Yes.
I think they mix it up tomorrow. I think you go with Yaz 5, Ramos 6. They'll probably not, but the 7
probably
is
won't.
going. 7 would be Flores. at DH. 8 will be Bailey, and 9 will be Fitzgerald. That's my guess for the lineup. My guess for Sunday is going to be a little different, though. I think Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Wisely at no, not Wisely because they're facing a lefty. If we see Koss at second and Fitzgerald at first. Just he played last year first base like 10 games, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. Maybe not 10, but he played a handful for sure. Yeah. You might see Fitz move down into the lineup. They did that once in the Philly series. They might do it again.
Yeah.
Because he still is getting hits.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining NorCal Sports Network. We really do appreciate it. Hit the like button on the way out. We will see you tomorrow night, sometime right after the ball game, about the same time. What time did we start tonight? Just after 9? Right at 9, yeah. So 6:38 ball game tomorrow. We'll be probably joining you somewhere around 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And let's hope the Giants can, the bats wake up. They wake up from their East Coast trip, and the bats come out smoking tomorrow, and they take tomorrow night. Let's look for Landon Roop. Maybe to go a strong 6 would be nice and give up 2 runs or less. That would be really good to see a nice quality start from Landon Roop. So thanks for joining, guys, and we will catch you tomorrow night. If I can find the music to get out of here. Where does it go? There it is. There it is.
Thanks, Dan.
Cold or whatever you got, respiratory gets better. I just got over that about a month ago. I had it. It took about a month to get rid of, though. It was bad.
Terrible.
We'll do it live. What is that? It goes, we'll do it live. Like and sub. Yes, hello. How you doing, Shell? Good to see ya. Draft next Thursday, Niner fans. Next Thursday. Should be fun. All right. What else we got in here in the chat? Yeah, definitely. I think we need to use Matos more. Hopefully he's up feeling okay. Hopefully the injury bug's not about to hit the Giants. All righty. All right, everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Go Giants.